Spurgeon here with RevZilla, and today we're going to take a look at the Scorpion Influx Jacket available at RevZilla.com. So with the Influx Jacket, this is two-season hot weather riding, and this is going to be a step up from what we've seen with something like the Drafter 2. So if you're looking at the Drafter 2, very quick bullet points as to the step up for this one. You're getting now SASTEC CE Level 2 armor. You're getting creature comforts like accordion stretch for more mobility, and this is also going to give you just refinement in materials. You're looking at two different types of mesh coming into play. You're looking at auto-locking YKK zips. There's just a lot more refinement and thought that has gone into the Influx to make this that step up if you're considering both jackets, because both jackets are for you touring riders out there that are looking for warm weather conditions. Now, sizing for this is going to be a little bit different. Now, high-vis Brian on the left-hand side stands at 6 foot, weighs in at 195 pounds, and has a 42-inch chest. And what we're seeing here is a little bit more of an aggressive cut. So, according to the size chart, Brian should be in a large, and we find that this fits him spot on in the large, where the boxier cut of the Drafter 2 had him, considering sizing down. Now, there's going to be 4 different colors available for this. There's a black, a gray, a high-vis option, and the red. Now, there's also going to be sizes that are ranged from small up to 3XL, and it is going to work for the majority of you riders out there in the American market. One of the things to note, if you're not familiar with Scorpion, this is a brand that we really like from a quality standpoint, but their pieces aren't going to break the bank. So you get a lot of bang for your buck factor baked in here, especially when we're talking about things like SASTEC CE level armor, 2 different types of mesh. The Influx is going to come around that $200 price point, which is that step up from the Drafter 2, but it's not getting you up into something like the Ascendant, where you're getting 3 to 4 season functionality. So if you want more than just a warm weather jacket, you could take a look at the Ascendant. That's going to give you that 3 to 4 season functionality with different layers and removable layers to it. But really what we're getting here is you're getting a mesh jacket with a removable windproof liner. So if you stretch this longer into the summer months, you're still going to be able to handle it as it begins to turn into the fall. So let's break down what we're talking about here, and there's 3 different components to the construction. So in your impact zones, you are going to have 600D polyester, and then you're going to have 2 different types of mesh working throughout the body. You're going to have a flat mesh, and you're also going to have a raised dual density 3D mesh, which helps to promote airflow. So starting with the collar, working our way through, you are going to have microfiber at the collar, which adds a comfort element, something that was missing from the Drafter 2. And then you're going to have pops reflectivity working its way down the arm. Now, with the Scorpion brand, we've seen them kind of minimalize their logo, but you are still getting a little bit of that old aggressive Scorpion temper foam look baked into this. So you're going to have the temper foam at the abs, you're going to have the temper foam at the shoulders. Now, underneath the temper foam, you are going to have that SASTEC CE Level 2 armor. It's a flexible armor, it's extremely comfortable, but you now have CE Level 2 protection at the shoulders, at the elbows, and you're also going to have that pop reflectivity. Brian, hold your hand up. The one thing you will notice here is there's a 3-snap adjuster at the bicep. I love the 3-snap adjuster with this, because with some of the other Scorpion pieces that we're seeing, there's a 2-snap adjuster and you don't get the same level of refinement. So there's just a little bit of extra refinement we're seeing with the Influx that's not carried over with some of the other Scorpion pieces. At the wrist, you have an auto-locking YKK zip, and then you're also going to see that that windproof liner underneath here with that color coding to how you're going to snap that back into play, zipping that back up. Now, the one thing I will say from a nitpick standpoint, I would have loved to have seen that microfiber carry through at the cuff, just to add that same comfort element that we're seeing at the collar. Brian, you're going to put your hand down. Like I said, pops reflectivity outlining the shoulders, and you are going to have that YKK zip, and it's the dual density mesh. You're going to see that 3D mesh that you're going to have at the chest, which just has a padding to it. It's raised up, it helps to promote airflow, air pushes through. And then surrounding those panels, you're gonna have a regular flat mesh, which is just gonna allow that air to pass through as well, but not quite as well as you're getting with that 3D mesh. Now you'd have dual hand warmer pockets on either side. And Brian, go ahead and face sideways, throw the hand up in the rider position. So we talked about some of those creature comforts that you're getting. You are going to see now accordion stretch at the back of the arm. You're going to have accordion stretch at the elbow. And there's a little bit of a slight pre-curve to the sleeve on this, and it's going to add mobility while still allowing you down into more of a full tuck. So maybe you're a sport touring rider, a Triumph ST, 1050, or you get a Honda. There's a lot of different mobility options for you out there where you can tuck yourself down just a little bit more. Pops reflectivity work its way all the way around the arm, and then you still get that Velcro adjuster at the waist. Brian, you may face backwards for me. Starting at the top, working our way down, again, you can see the microfiber is just going to carry through at the collar. Pops reflectivity outlining the shoulders. You will get a back pad with this. It is just a back pad. So my number one recommendation is grab that back pad, throw it out, and put a full-on SASTEC back protector in there. I think it comes in around the $40 price point, and that way you're gonna be covered for your elbows, your shoulders, as well as your back. As you work your way down, like I mentioned in the beginning, minimal branding from Scorpion. So you're gonna see them really take a step away from putting their logos everywhere, but you do get a blacked out Scorpion logo along the bottom, and there will be a belt loop connection as well as a short connection zipper. So if you wanna match this up with Scorpion pants, you do have the availability to do just that. You can give yourself a nice summer riding suit. Brian, you may face forward for me. I'm gonna have you go ahead and on-snap or on Velcro rather and unzip for me and hold up that left side. So what you'll notice, you do have the Napoleon Pocket on the inside of this, and then you're gonna have that windproof liner. So you can stretch this into the cooler months. It zips in, zips out, you take it out. In the heat of the day, you get all the airflow you want. You put it back in at night when it starts to cool down, and it just helps to protect you from that chilly weather, that you're gonna find towards the end of the summer months. Now, last thing of note here, we talked about just the way that they've changed the materials around that's gonna give it a step up. You now have a taffeta on the inside, which is just gonna be more comfortable than what we're seeing with just a full 600D poly. So it's these little touches that you're gonna see from Scorpion, which just take the Influx jacket that next step higher. Brian, you may go ahead and zip up for me. So there's a lot of riders out there that are looking for gear to really tackle warm weather riding. You still want to be protected, but you also want to be comfortable. The Influx is definitely an option for you to consider, and there's a lot of riders out there utilizing Scorpion gear. So if you want to hear more about what other riders have to say, click the info button on your desktop or mobile device, and you'll be able to read other rider reviews from folks that are already out there putting Scorpion jackets through their paces. If you have more questions for one of our gear geeks as to which jacket is right for you, give them a shout at 877-792-9455, or simply shoot over an email, cs@RevZilla.com. Thank you for joining us for this look at the Scorpion Influx jacket. I'm Spurge. Enjoy the ride.